Hello, and welcome to the Consider Your Mind podcast. I'm your host, Eric King, and along with my co host, Mino Pachan, we're here to talk about all things mental health. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Consider Your Mind podcast. I'm your gracious host, Eric King, and joining with me today is none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Stephen Moore.
What up? What up? What up?
Hey,
AKA Mr. More Beats. Follow
yeah,
me on IG, Xbox Live, whatever. It's Mr. More Beats.
two O's.
Yes,
More with
sir.
two O's, man, for sure. And I'm his new nickname is Mr. Cozy, because my man be bathrobed up. My man,
Oh yeah.
he's so player, he's sipping Pedialyte. You feel what I'm saying? Pushing
That's
P.
how you know
That's what he
the
do.
real
There you go.
pushing P.
He pushing P. Pedialyte, man. I heard they just free Gunner too. Yeah, so there you go.
Free
But
Gunna.
yeah, man. Hey, thank you all for joining us for another episode, man. And on this episode, I want to say it right out from the front, man. We doing this in the spirit of my homeboy Mino. Everybody still keep him in your prayers, man. He's a soldier. He's fighting. You
Amen,
know,
brother.
for sure, man. He's a soldier and he's fighting. He's fighting to live, man. Which that's what we encourage people to do on here, because this life is precious, and your mental health is so important. But people take care of your bodies as well. Do what you can, because once your body goes, not a lot of other things matter. And so just keep that in perspective. Be good to yourself. And so it's in that spirit of vulnerability, that Mino always brought to the show. I want to title this show, Codependency and Me. You feel me? Because
Mm,
I had to, we're gonna get personal on this one, because as many of you
I
know,
like that.
and again,
I like
fans of the
that.
show, y'all have listened to the episode with myself and my homegirl Danae, and about codependence and Codependence Anonymous. And she invited me, to kind of come and work with it and see some
Mm,
things. And as I've started to learn, just like with every episode I say when we cover a subject, I see a little bit of myself in it. This one, the one I'm like,
yep.
okay, this actually might be, in addition to us going to therapy, there's certain
Yeah.
groups and certain
Yeah.
relationships and social circles that could benefit our mental health as well. And so I think Codependence Anonymous, may be that, for me. So, and so it's only right that I have, the original Mr. Anonymous, Mr. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous himself,
Oh
Mr. More
man,
Beats,
definitely like you said, different perspective, I'm definitely coming at it from a different angle, but big shout out to the homegirl Danae.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 38. Hope to see more from you guys too. I think that
Mm-hmm. Oh
really
yeah, yeah,
was
definitely.
a great conversation starter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean it's a good conversation to have. A lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
it's rough for some people to have that conversation, but I think ultimately, one of the biggest things you could do for your own personal growth is to push yourself to uncomfortable limits. You know what I mean? Through that uncomfort is when we really grow in that uncomfortable stage.
Yeah, yeah. But I think as Frederick Douglass said, no struggle, no progress. So,
Exactly.
and that's the truth. And luckily, again, when you reach out and you get into this field and looking for information, people that have been in it, ahead of you, you don't have to go in cold. You can get some people that have been in ahead of you. And she pointed me towards a resource, Codependence Anonymous handbook called "Peeling the Onion."
Peeling the
And
onion. I
peeling the
like that.
onion, it was just,
I like
and
that.
so I was, getting ready, for the meeting, so I'm reading through it.
Yeah.
And finally, like, we covered chapter 3 last week. And so we covered chapter 4 this week, and it was called Patterns and Characteristics of Codependence. Because before I was like, okay, maybe I can see what this group's talking about, this, that, and the third. It's all
Yeah.
right. It's hitting on some things for me. But this one, it was like, okay, now we about to break it down for you. All right, if this is you,
Yeah. Yeah.
this might be your group,
Yep.
like and
Yep.
because in the way they structure it too, just to give you all the visual, like, so it'll make sense as we're going through it. It's short things, just a couple
Yeah.
sentences, and then it'll, saying codependence, do this, that, and the third, so you can relate to it, but then it gives you bullet points underneath with kind of
I like
phrases or
that.
things that you could say. If that's how you're feeling, then this is what you would say, or have you felt that before, to identify with it. And then at the end
Yeah.
of it, it points to you, solutions that, give you a glimpse of what recovery from that would be like.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it says, yeah,
So it kind
it,
of walks you through
mhm.
playing the tape forward.
There you go. It's like if this
Yeah.
is how you're
Yeah.
feeling, this is, if this is how you're feeling, hey, going through this program, going through these steps, this is how you can feel at the end. This is how it could be, I know this is where you
Yeah.
are, but this is where that can go. And so I thought it was, structured pretty well. So, that's what we're gonna do. We'll just walk kind of through it
That's
and then
awesome,
just
man.
yeah. It's really
And that's
cool, man. I
pretty
think
dope.
people enjoy it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it just hit the highlights, when it talks about, broadly patterns. And one of them is a denial pattern.
Yes.
If you're in that, denial.
So it ain't
So
just a river in Egypt.
there you go. It's not just denial is
It
not
ain't
just
just
a
a
river
river.
in
Yeah.
Egypt.
I remember hearing that all the time.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
just a river in Egypt.
Yeah, it's not just River of Egypt. It's some stuff that I be doing myself. So reading from it, denial patterns. Codependents
Yeah.
have a difficult time identifying what they are feeling, and this really
Mm.
came about, when I was speaking with Danae about, what I would want, like in terms of wants, needs, and out of a relationship, whatever it is, and or
Mm.
how I'm feeling. Like you text people, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Like I've been honestly been struggling like what to say to people sometimes, lately. Like
Yeah.
it's been actually very difficult for me to identify how I'm feeling. I think one of those things, again, my famous phrase in the show when I have a guest, hey man, how you doing, man? Hey, I'm just trying to be like you. It's
Yeah.
funny, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, it's a way for
At
me
the end
just
of the
really
day,
not to
just
actually have to tell you how I'm feeling.
yeah. It's like
you know?
answering the question, but not really answering the question.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then again, one of the little relatable phrases they say, this is when it got me again, first couple pages of the chapter. Sometimes I think I'm angry, but I really feel hurt. Anger is easier for me to feel than sadness.
Mm. You know what? I could agree with that.
You know what? Yeah, man.
I've been in a couple of AA meetings where that resonates with me actually. I remember being angry because I was scared of something. To not get too specific, but I was angry mainly because I was scared. You know what I mean? So it was all fear based with all of this stuff in my own head. But it showed itself as anger. And for people that know me knows I'm not really an angry dude. I'm always smiling, but so it's crazy. When you're
No,
going
that's
down
deep. I
a
think a lot of
journey,
guys can relate that to that. You're angry
yeah,
because you're scared. You're mad at yourself.
yeah,
You
yeah.
feel like you shouldn't be
And I'm
that
mad at
way.
myself for being that way.
You turn on yourself.
I grew up on that rougher stereotypical masculinity type of thing, you know what I mean? Not in the harmful way or anything, but it was there, So it was the man up era, uh, the don't be no punk type of thing. So I got mad at myself for having emotions. Isn't that crazy? Like I'm mad
Hmm.
at myself for having emotions.
Yeah.
Um,
No, that's real, man.
but and that anger was directed at other people. When you're hurting on the inside, hurt people, right? So whenever I'm hurt, all what I'm doing is hurting somebody else. So like I was telling you before, me and you had a conversation. I was talking about I went to a codependence meeting, and a lot of
Codependence
it
Anonymous. Yeah, Coda. Yeah.
codependence anonymous. You know what I mean? It was life changing. It was so. It's all perspective, man. When you get to see it from the other side, it helps with some self awareness. Helps me validate myself a little bit too. So it was amazing. I encourage anybody to do it. I love to see you going down this road, man. I'm loving it.
Man, yeah, just keep living. You
I
never know
want to
where to
see you
take
keep
you.
doing
The journey of
it.
Consider Your Mind, people. You're hearing it live on the podcast, just from episode 1 to where we are now. It's about to be a whole year. We just dropped, just coming
Yeah,
up on a
yeah.
year of doing this and how much
We've
things
been
have
going
changed.
through life
You, it, it,
on this, Eric. Real
yes,
live events been
absolutely.
happening on here.
This has not been a game.
Everything from car accidents and everything. You know,
Hospitalizations, exactly. Job
babies.
losses, babies. Yes, bro. My life has changed before you all. So,
Yeah,
I'm like, man, it's so
yeah,
nice
right
to actually
before
to
your
have some
eyes.
people to like, kind of maybe, some identify and to get some tools. Like I said, like
Yeah,
this pamphlet, peeling the onion has really helped. That relatable phrase. Sometimes I think I'm angry, but I really feel hurt. Anger is easier for me to feel than sadness. And I think that I can
yeah,
definitely relate to that during the time when, after I learned, I was gonna have a son, I just had a little bit of time to get ready. The whole situation just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And there was just a lot of things that I worked through. It was a lot of hurt, but it came out more as anger, you know.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
just so much easier for me to process and just punch the air Cuba Gooden style, you know what I'm saying? Just, how could you, I can look back at
Yeah,
so many
yeah,
times where it looked like anger, like it looked like a fight, you going at it with your
yeah.
person, you know. Yeah, anger, y'all coming at each other angrily, but because that's easier, easier for you to deal with than
It's
actually
more of
just
a
feeling sad.
familiar.
Even
Yeah,
if it's yeah, even if it's more
I think
dangerous or more whatever, it's just familiar.
it's more familiar. Where we get so used to that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You think
Hmm.
about, and then for me, my mind starts to go deep, right? Like I think about like all the different situations I've been in as a kid help mold me to this. Like, what were some of the situations, without getting too messy? But like, what were some? I'm not gonna actually say these things, but like, what were some of the situations that contributed to some of the things? How you react to certain things now?
Yo, speaking of that again, let
You
me
know what I
just like
mean?
this next thing again. Sidebar now. Again, I'm still reading
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
pamphlet,
My
but this
bad.
isn't one of the highlighted things for myself. So this isn't personal, but relating to what you said for anybody, this may help because it talks about things related to childhood. And so it says, one of the other things, codependents minimize, alter, or deny how they truly feel. And then he gives an
Mm.
example right here. I had an affair with a married man. I told myself it didn't matter because we both knew it was just sex. I rationalized that since we weren't in love, I wasn't a threat to his marriage. So again, wanting more out of a relationship, but getting involved with an unavailable person, a married man, and just saying it don't matter. No, I just told myself it was just sex. How many people out there, like I said, I have no affair with no
Man,
married man, but again, it's related to yourself. But again, it goes back
yeah.
to you can minimize your feelings. You can maybe see certain things, when you're younger. Again, around that same vein, I was sexually assaulted as a 7-year-old because my parents didn't address it. I kept it to myself as a shameful secret that didn't merit their attention.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Authorizing or
Jeez.
minimizing your feelings, just making, oh, it's no big deal. Having
And
to
this is
really
that peeling the
peeling the
onion.
onion. Yeah, peeling the
Peeling the
onion.
onion, you
Yep.
guys.
Yeah, characteristics of codependence,
Yeah.
and so as I'm reading this thing, so again, even the ones as I'm reading that don't apply to me, I get
Yeah.
completely if I was in a meeting with somebody like that happened, how that's what
Yes.
they
Yeah.
would latch on.
Yeah.
That's from their beginning. That's why they would think that their feelings don't matter because it didn't merit your family's attention to know that you were abused. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about yourself? About your
Yep.
self-worth?
I
And
talk about
so,
that all the time.
mm-hmm,
Self-awareness, man.
mm-hmm, exactly. So, all right. So now, all right, we're gonna get a little more personal now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Time to get
So,
deep.
because again, I figured out too, the Kindle can highlight. I forgot about that stuff. You use digital things, you just forget that you can do stuff with them. And so I'm
That's
like,
what happens to me a
yeah,
lot, dude. I don't know. It's been making me feel
mhm.
old too. I'm like,
Yeah, for real, you just be forgetting
hey,
as
show
you
me
know.
how to do the
The what you jig it, rinse around.
Yo, you'll see,
Yeah,
man, when you start asking your kid, hey, yo, show me how to do the how you
show
do
me
the
how to
thing
work
again
that
on the.
tickety top.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, bro. So yeah, so all right, so this is
No.
another one, man. So this is when it got to me, I was like, all right, man, I got to put this on the show, man. They calling me,
Yeah.
and so it said, codependents do not ask others to meet their needs or desires.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
so
I
like again, I highlighted the example. Said I never asked to have my needs met. I really want my partner to know and care that I'm satisfied emotionally or sexually or do something about it. But at the same, if you don't communicate that stuff, you're just being expecting it. So I'm guilty of that
mm,
as well. Just
a
not
closed mouth don't
communicate.
get fed
And
type
there
of
you go.
thing.
And as much as I talk, I can talk a whole bunch of stuff, but never tell you what I really want. I can tell it.
You know
We can talk
what?
about
That
everything else in
happened
the world, but I can, without telling you what I
that
really got
happened to
going
me in
on.
high school.
Yeah.
It was me. I can't say their names. But
Confidential,
it was
confidential.
yeah, confidential.
No
It was
snitching
me and
around
these two other dudes. We were all three of us were pretty close. You know what I mean? Because at that time, I thought I was pretty hard. I was selling weed, and one of the dudes had owed me money, and the other dude knew that, and he's like, "Hey, Steven, doesn't such and such owe you money?"
here.
And then I was
Ooh,
like,
the
"Oh yeah,
instigator. Yeah.
right." And then so I went and asked the guy, and I go, "Hey, they're like, hey, yo, he owe you money." And I was like, hey man, dude reminded me that you owe me some money. And he got all mad. He was like, a closed mouth don't get fed. I remember him saying that, and that like stuck in my head. You know what I mean? A closed mouth don't get fed. Like if I was never gonna ask him for that money, he'd have never gave it to me. You know what I mean? I just expect
That's
everybody to be on the
that's
same
real.
merit as
That's
me.
the realest thing in the world for people like ourselves. Like
Yeah.
we don't think of stuff like that, but that's how people are really operating in this world.
Yo, that's
They
so
think everything
crazy.
is cool. They really
Yeah.
think it's okay.
I was just like,
You know
"Hey,
what
he'll
I'm
give it to me
saying?
when he gets it." And,
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
it
but
like, 2
no, it
weeks
ain't even
passed and
that.
everything. It
Mhm,
took somebody to instigate it for me to be
mhm.
like, "Hey, yo, could I," and then he got mad that I let somebody instigate me up out of that
He's
little
like, "Man,
money.
I had a good thing
Yeah.
going with this dude, bro. You know, I was gonna
So
ask
he
him for
looking at
another
me.
20, you feel me? I was
Yeah.
just he forgot I owed him, bro."
Exactly. He looking at me like, "Hey,
Yeah,
yo, a closed
yeah.
mouth don't get fed." And I was like, "Alright." You know what I mean? I so wasn't about that life. Like, I was the worst, person to be in that life.
Yo, I
Like,
heard Tupac say that about himself. "I was the worst drug dealer. I couldn't
I
do
was a
no
me, dude, I could never do
Yeah,
that.
so
I can't do it.
there you go. That's why good thing weed's legal now,
I'm
man.
too
So you can do
friendly.
stuff. There you go, because you
We
did
ain't gonna get
supposed to be
nothing
doing
done.
that as friend. Again, complete sidebar from the episode. We'll get back in
My
1 second.
bad.
But
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
man,
y'all.
sometimes we just be too friendly to be do certain lifestyles, bro. You know, we need groups,
Exactly.
not gangs. We need
Yeah.
AA, not Crips and Bloods, brother. You know,
Yes, we do.
yeah,
Yes,
older,
we
not
do. Some
uh
unity.
unity. But yo, and then this one got me too, bro. Like, the
What's
phrase,
this?
I don't ask for what I need. I fear my request may be ignored. It's that fear that I
Mm.
feel like, yeah, because I feel like, all right, if I really do express myself and you still don't do it, the way that I feel really after that really hurts. And
Yeah.
one of the things, when we go do our job interviews, actually, what's your greatest weakness, as an employee or whatever,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
you know, and everybody like again, the corniest thing to say is I work too hard or I'm too whatever, I never
That's
wanted to
the
say that.
go-to
Yeah,
right
that's the
there.
go-to, but to me it's corny. I'm like, come on, bro.
It's so
But
corny. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
to me, like to tell the truth is like I don't ask for help enough. Like my biggest weakness is that I don't ask for help. I try to truly just figure stuff out on
Wow.
my own. I don't reach out as much as I should. I've had to get better at it.
That's
And
a new
actually,
one.
yeah, and because it's the truth,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
and
like that.
I
I like that,
wondered,
Eric.
yeah, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I had to really
I'd
think
hire
about it.
you. Here,
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm pretty. That's. But
you
here's
know
the
what?
thing.
You got the job.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, and here's another one. Again, free game, people. Sidebar, but hey,
Yes.
since we're here, they in interviews actually deal with conflict. If something on the job that's bothering, whatever. How do you, manage through that? I said I can't work and complain at the same time. Just tell them that I can't work and
I
complain
like
at the
that.
same time, even if something's wrong. If I don't disagree with this or da da da, I don't whatever it is. I can have my personal feelings and I can address it after we get the work
Right.
done.
Right.
But I can't actually get work and address it, no matter how I feel about what I'm addressing and complain and be actively out there doing, no.
Yeah.
And again, there can be
It's just
time for that. If anybody ever
taking up too
wants
much
to come at
energy.
me and ask me how I feel about certain things,
Yeah.
okay.
We can
But
go there.
but I can
Yeah.
keep. But
Yeah.
I work. I do my best to keep working despite my personal whatever it is about
Yeah.
things that I just maybe not understand.
Yeah.
So again, a free game, people. If you get hired because of me, come on, man, shoot your boy a little cat. I'll put my cash out. Now I'm just playing, man. Just
There you
subscribe to
go.
the page,
There you
man.
I'm gonna
Um,
put my Cash App in the
yeah,
messages.
yeah, yeah.
Y'all go
But
ahead and
but
holler.
but I had to think about myself. Where'd that come from? I don't ask for what I need. I fear my request may be ignored. I think I
Yeah.
had a fear maybe like when I was young. My mother, we came to Minnesota, so my mom could go to grad school. The woman is literally going to, get her master's and PhD, has a whole office. She's doing homework literally. So
Hallelujah.
I grew up. I never asked nobody for homework help. I
Yeah.
never did that. I never asked my mom to help. Like she had her own homework, and it's never no thing where my mom they wouldn't have. Or I said I'm almost afraid like we could go ignore like compared to whatever I
Yeah.
thought back then. Like maybe that idea, what I got going on, or the help I need, what other people need more help than me though. People got their own thing
Um,
going on. So
you
before
always put yourself on the back burner.
yeah, and I'm just like, and I had that, and again, my father would, put this like phrase, and now thinking about it, it's probably not the healthiest thing, but it's like, hey, if you see a bear on my back, help the bear because I'm gonna be all right. It's
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
anything, what I'm saying? Just that it was very macho,
Yeah.
it's very manly. You'd be able to just figure it out. And so now,
Right.
maybe that's helped me, to do things, connect dots, figure certain things out on my own, research whatever it is. But at the same time, I think life too, and my jobs that I've had, especially recently working in the digital, world, I have to actively reach out and get information and engage with people to get information about things that I don't know.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's much more easy for me to isolate. It's much more
Oh,
easy just for
man.
me to actually isolate, not like, just try to figure
Yep,
stuff
and
out
that
on my
is
own, man.
that's one of the worst things we could do too is isolate. I think for short periods of times, something similar to like meditation is good, but I think there's a fine line between meditating and isolating. You know, um, Yeah, that's just my little 2 cents on that. But no, I agree with you, Eric, man. That's awesome
Yeah,
that you're digging deep and seeing that, you know.
exactly. Yeah, I had to, think about this stuff when you're reading. I'm like, okay, they may not have the perfect example for me, but there's enough around it. I'm like, oh, okay. I can see where I may have picked some of that stuff up too. And so, but then, like at the end of the things, they give you a little bit of hope. Like, okay, if you go through these steps,
Yeah,
go through this program, it says, in recovery as adults, we are capable and responsible for meeting our own needs. We ask others for what we
mhm.
want, realizing we may not get it. We learn self-care. Now, again, that part I think is so powerful. Said, hey, we ask others for what we want. Nothing wrong with that. Like that's a natural desire. We do
Yep,
that.
that's
Learning to
natural.
just do, learning to be comfortable with that, and feeling like you're worthy to ask for something. But then
Yeah.
realizing, hey, you may not get it. And one of the things I talked to a buddy of mine recently about is, you know what? And he says one of the more powerful things I've said, and I said it a while ago, but you got to realize some people just ain't got it. You're looking for
Yeah.
something from somebody, tell you something to give you a certain comfort, certain feeling, whatever it is. And sometimes, bro, like they just ain't got it for you. And to be at peace with that, to be able to actually, work with self to get
Yeah.
beyond to get
Exactly.
beyond that and keep your life moving so that you're not, your progress in your life and your quality of life isn't delayed just by this person not being able to provide, your legitimate need, you
Absolutely.
know.
Absolutely. That makes
Yeah.
sense. That
Yeah,
makes
for sure,
perfect
for
sense.
sure. Yeah, for sure, man. And then we get into like, nah, this is when it got personal. Like, why you gotta talk about me like this? Because, you know, when I was doing the Enneagram test, my therapist put me on to that, and I'm, my number 9
What's it?
personality, the
What's that?
Enneagram.
Wait, can you break it down for the for
Oh
the
man,
the
see, yeah,
beginners?
yeah, y'all missed those
Break it
episodes.
down for
Exactly.
the
That's why you gotta go back to the beginning. But
uh,
it's like
if you just now tuning in.
if you're just not tuned, this is your first Consider Your Mind podcast. Your boy is a number 9 on the Enneagram. It's like a spectrum,
Mm,
personality types. And 9 is characterized as the peacemaker. And a peacemaker,
there you go.
it's easier for me to work on the behalf of others, than myself. It's easier. Like I do a lot
Yeah.
of, passive aggressive, just taking on stuff to maintain a cool environment. That's me. I just want everybody to get along. I'm
I
Rodney
do
King
that
around
too.
here. Can't we all just get
I'm guilty.
along? Yeah, exactly.
I'm
And so,
guilty of that.
and so,
Yeah.
yeah. And so a lot of times we can end up compromising, our feelings, suppressing feelings, feeling guilty about that because you know what, that might make other people
Yeah.
uncomfortable. So this next piece of it, when it said codependence, value other people's approval of their thinking, feeling, and behavior over their own. And I think this what maybe
Mm,
sometimes makes me like somebody that I can talk a lot in debate and whatever it is, because like I am kind of always in rhetoric mode, trying to convince people of things. I'm trying to get my feelings
yeah.
validated. I'm trying to get people to
Playing devil's
approve.
advocate
Yeah, all that
sometimes.
stuff, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is, because I
Yeah.
actually am
Yeah.
trying to get you know
Point across.
prove, yeah, get my
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
across, yeah, and things like that. But at the same time, you it's always this seeking, others' approval, really valuing what other people think of you. And it sucks when the world, when you're supposed to be like, man, F them, bro, I don't care what people say about me, I'm just my
Yeah.
da da da. When you come to it, it's like, yo, man, that's not how I'm built. Actually, my personality type really actually does care
It's
about what
more.
other people think about me.
It's
you
more
know
of the empath. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I do really,
Yeah.
hey man, I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
feel bad about such and such, you know what I'm saying? Even if
Yeah.
people do me wrong, I see if there's something about to happen to them, it still make me sad,
I
you
got that
know?
in me too. Yeah, dude. I can relate to that. I can
That's why
definitely
again,
relate.
that's why we couldn't sell drugs, people. We
Yeah,
just
that's
no,
why
we're too sensitive.
I was too
All of a sudden the
horrible.
junkie run off on us. We like, man, well, he is a junkie, so I ain't even
We
you gotta
need
be
help.
ruthless, you supposed to you gotta be like 50 Cent. You owe him any
Yeah,
type of money,
yeah.
he
I don't.
coming after you. That man
I didn't have that ruthless
we
gene
just
in
ain't
me,
in us
man.
like that, hey, we
Yeah,
blessed, man. So it says, from that. So in recovery, we pray for knowledge of God's will for us and the power to carry that out. We learn that our authentic selves is more important than seeking the approval from others. Because again, that's that authenticity versus, attachment.
brother. Yeah,
There's that true fear that if I am my authentic self, they see who I am, that they're not really gonna be cool with that. People say they
bro.
like
That
you, but really believing that they do, like, what I'm
yeah.
saying, on the inside. And so you're comfortable enough in that to just move however you want to move.
That
Yeah.
is
And so,
that's
yeah.
I'm glad you read that actually. It falls in line with AA's steps. It's 11 and 12 right there. Here goes Step 11 in AA is sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for the knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And then step 12 is having had a spiritual awakening as a result to these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all of our affairs. So when you getting sober, it's not just about not drinking. It's about practicing the all those 12 principles that we just got through talking about in all your affairs. So you know what they say, what do you get when you get a drunken horse thief and he sobers up? What do you got now? It's like you still got a horse thief. He just
Yeah,
ain't drunk. You
horse
know what I mean?
thief.
So
Yeah.
so it's like,
He's
you
still
know, we
going to jail.
yeah. So we still got these issues, you know. We were just masking with this drinking and alleviating that drinking problem. Now we can apply that to all of our affairs, so our whole conscious way of living.
Yeah, man, for sure,
But
for
I like
sure.
that. As soon as you read that triggered my AA. When you
Yeah.
read that, I was sitting here thinking step
It's
11,
cousin.
step 12. I
Yeah,
was like,
that's like, yeah, they're like cousins, CAAA is cousins.
yeah,
Because
yeah. I
again,
was
even
like, here
something that
we
we
go.
talked about, like, my codependent, realizing like that unhealthy
Yes,
relationship I have with alcohol. It may not necessarily be addiction, like, these are
yes.
people who are actual alcoholics. It was like, okay, it's not addiction. That don't make it healthy though.
I got a great
There is
story too
something else
about
in the
this.
middle of that.
Um, there was a guy in one of my groups. This was years ago. I was still struggling, and he wrote a letter to alcohol as it was his girlfriend, like a breakup letter. It was amazing. So it was like
Sounds
his
like a
that
great beginning
relationship.
to a rap song or something like that. Like
Yeah.
Eminem, tea's gone cold. I'm
I'm,
wondering why.
uh,
You
yeah.
know.
Dude, but it was so I still have the letter. Maybe I can ask him if we can go ahead and read it on here. But it was like a 3-page letter. It was really, really it helped me, you know what I mean? Because it's putting it in in a different perspective that people could relate to. I mean, we all a lot of us have had to dealt with heart loss, grief, breaking up with a person. And I think he was codependent in that relationship, you know, and that relationship just happened to so be with
You know what?
alcohol.
You know what? I think we've seen that like in popular
Yep.
entertainment where, the artists who personify a drug or their addiction or whatever. I can think about Moneybag Yo.
Yep.
He's a pretty
Eminem
popular
did it.
artist. Yeah. Yeah, Eminem
Yep.
obviously, but Moneybag Yo did one called Waukesha about, sipping lean syrup, like the opiates basically. And talking to call it Waukesha, like it's a personifying it,
Yeah.
talking about it like it's a girl and how it's like, keep next day I'll be running back like a relationship, like truly,
Mhm.
like an unhealthy relationship that you have, but you can't give it up, So that's very interesting, man. And so that was those ones, those are the highlighted, outside of the one, the rest of them are personal um from the denial patterns. So now we get
Yes.
into other patterns, though. Compliance patterns. Those are denial of feelings. These are going along to get along. Again, my 9 personality. I want everybody to be cool. Go along to get along. I want to be a team player. You know, I think I probably would have been pretty good in the military. Actually. So I'm like, all right, if that's what the team on, that's what the team on. I've always kind of been like that.
Yeah.
Again, another
Yep.
thing's good in
Yep.
the interview. I like to be part of a team. I like to be a team player. There you go.
Yeah.
Game people. So compliance patterns.
Uh,
Codependents compromise their own values and integrity to avoid rejection or anger others. So one of the examples is I pretend not to notice she rejected me. I do more to please her. So I can't tell you, bro. I've done that
mm,
quite a few times. You're getting this, you could get rejected, whatever. But you're just trying to keep it cool. You're trying to like do something to like, because you really can't express that hurt right there, and especially like if
yeah.
it's in any type of public situation, girls
Yeah.
or whoever it is can like really embarrass you. Like they have that power than person, like
Oh
that
yeah.
rejection really hurts. And again, anger is easier to express than actual hurt. So having to just
Yeah.
grin and bear it and just go along and get along makes sure everything's cool. I remember one of the stories, like, and I'm not gonna tell all the details, but I flew, kind of flew out to a person, once, we cool, we met on a vacation, decided to fly out to him,
Yeah. Yeah.
sometime. And Bro, when I got there, it was like, completely different. It was like the person just kind of like dished me, and it sucked to
Oh,
have to
wow.
really like put in. I'd already told everybody I was going down there, is that thing,
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
it was very. I noticed, I was like, damn, I really compromised a lot of myself by even like, staying as long as I did. I
yeah,
should have really just like, I feel like I disrespected myself, and then even
yeah,
trying to address it later with the person, like how they like looked at it, was like that hurt when people, I'm expressing they need to you, like for some closure, for like what, to make me understand what happened, you know, that cognitive dissonance thing, earlier episodes, people, like I was trying to do that to heal yourself,
mhm,
get closure, whatever it is. And when people are just like giving you their whole ass to kiss and having to really just keep him like, ooh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, and you kind of get in those like, and yeah. So all of a sudden you start to feel like having those having those feelings for closure, having those needs are wrong.
yeah,
Dang, everybody else ain't reacting and giving it to me. So maybe why should I be asking for why? Because no,
yeah.
they start to make you question yourself. So like
You
it
put
says,
second guessing yourself.
self-guessing yourself, your own needs. So to the point where people ask me, hey, what do you need? How are you feeling? Hey
Um,
man, I'm just trying to
yeah,
be like you,
yeah,
dog. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like I'm
yeah.
just,
You just start
you
to, yeah,
know,
to. Oh
life is
man,
good.
that's real.
I come from the church. I'm blessed and highly favored. We got
Yeah,
phrases you can say, whatever it is.
yeah.
So, so
Man, do you know there's so many people that do that though?
hell,
Oh, bro, I
oh
can't
hell
call it.
yeah, yeah. I
Hey, how you
can't,
doing?
man.
Oh, I
I'm
can't call it. I
trying to
can't
avoid,
call it. Yeah. We've been taught, systemically to not really. I mean, just black men in general, like really not to embrace feeling.
yeah. And again, that's after before, like in Minnesota. Oh, nice the weather. Talk to somebody about the
Yeah,
weather or something.
yeah,
Again, do anything
exactly.
non-personal. Keep it,
Yeah,
non-personal. So, yeah, man. Um, so from that, like it says, in recovery, we maintain our values and integrity with guidance from our higher power. We learn to use our boundaries to safeguard ourselves. Again, earlier episodes, man, it's all kind of
yeah,
leading up to this, recognizing my own boundary issues and being a father, and how like, hey, man, actually these things that I, going through, I'm doing this because, you know, how I am, who I am matters. How I
yeah,
show up in the world, it's a representation, now. And
yeah,
self-improvement is the main thing. Like, trying to be the best self that you can be. Codependents are very sensitive to how other people feel, and feel the same. So you can get, pretty empath, sometimes. And in order to not feel that, man, sometimes, we numb out. It's easier to just numb out.
hell yeah,
Because hey man, we've been through some things recently, where had to lean on your shoulder as we got emotional because you're not even expecting something to bring something out of you.
yeah,
you know,
yep,
you wasn't
yep.
expecting to cry that day. You
Man,
really
tell me
wasn't expecting to,
that sound like my last therapy session.
you know.
Like I came in
Hey,
here, I was writing in my craving journal, right? Because in my craving journal is where I put all my
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can find a craving journal on the Consider Your Mind podcast website.
yeah,
Just go ahead, click on that link, get yourself a cravings journal.
yeah, for
But
sure, man. We got merch coming soon. You
I
understand?
was I was writing in mine, and I had a list of everything I was ready to talk about once I got to therapy, and got in there, man, and said something happened, and next thing you know, I'm in there crying. I was like, I ain't e I wasn't even supposed to
Just,
be in this emotional feeling right here.
just
I
like
wasn't
that.
expecting it. Yeah,
Just like that.
yeah.
And we talked about it, like being now that I'm a father, now that just happened to me during the time we've done this show. Man, I'm
Yeah.
emotional. I tell people, bro, like I watch sports, man. I don't even be going. I don't watch Lifetime. I'm not watching all these old like
Mhm.
sappy movies, romance movies. But yo, man, any piece about a loss, somebody is sick, or oh
Yeah.
my goodness, a funeral. Oh, I just be like, what
Welcome
the
to the
heck?
club, man.
Yeah, man,
Welcome to the
everything
club,
just
buddy.
matters, bro. Like, what is this? I'm
Everything
just
matters.
emotional.
Oh, yeah,
How about
yeah.
this damn emotional? And to be at peace with that, and to figure
Yes.
that out, man. So
I
one thing I
love it,
like,
man. Ain't nothing wrong with
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
We embracing that, and that's what I love what this show does
Hmm.
is having that conversation, normalizing having feelings.
Yeah, having
You know what I
feelings,
mean?
and within that though, again, feeling others people's feelings, but keeping those boundaries. So it says,
Yes.
in recovery, our healthy boundaries empower us to know the difference between our own and others' feelings. We
I
learn
love
to
that.
allow others to be responsible for their own feelings, and this was a perfect example of something that I wouldn't have known outside of co-parenting, and having to figure that out with somebody. Um, when you get advice, as you become a parent, I didn't realize, you don't know this until you become a parent. Like, people have
Yeah.
all these opinions on what you should be doing, on how you
Oh,
should be
hell yeah,
parenting,
dude.
on the boundaries you should be shedding, on the, all this other stuff. And
Yeah.
they bringing their experiences. All they can bring is what they got. So
Yep.
but you got to keep things in context. Okay, those are their feelings. That's their boundaries that they do for their reasons. That's not
Yes.
necessarily, necessarily us.
Yep.
We don't need to have the boundaries of a married couple, you know, that had two kids and divorced and at all
We'll
the
just say
went bad in
the
the courts and
traditional.
yeah, all that stuff. I was like,
Yeah.
our relationship really isn't like that.
It is
Actually,
in the traditional
yeah,
sense.
yeah. It's like we gotta keep in context how we actually feel about certain things. Like,
Mhm.
just because they don't cross the threshold of their house, like, yo, man, we're not on that. Shout out to them for their boundaries, but
Yeah.
it's just
But
an
I mean,
example
there's
of having
also too.
boundaries, but we got to take our own. Like,
Yeah.
you have to, just be, people say, oh, you should feel this way. Oh, she did this, or you did this. Oh,
And
they have just, again, what you should be doing all the time.
yeah.
But you have to consciously, it's a conscious thing, as a parent, as a co-parent or whatever, to take inventory. No, how do I actually feel about this? What am I
Mm.
actually comfortable with?
See?
Instead of what should they did this, well, you should feel this way about that. It's very
Yeah.
easy to get caught up in how other people tell you should feel about something.
That boy using recovery words. He said, "I'm taking inventory." I said, "Okay, there you go."
Oh man, I ain't even
I
pledged.
like it.
I ain't
I
even
like
been.
it.
I ain't even fully into the gang yet. So
Yeah.
I'm pledging. I'm just pledging to CA. I ain't even made it through the book. Like I said, I'm live doing this,
You
man.
coming in there though. Hey, I like it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good fit. He said,
Yeah,
"I'm pledging."
yeah. And well, here's the next one too. Again, being vulnerable a little bit. Now, this next one, I ain't highlight the title of it because I can't
Yeah.
say that because I haven't been into a whole bunch of relationship. It says codependents are extremely loyal, remaining in harmful situations too long. And like I said,
Yeah.
like I've probably violated my boundaries and been in situations that were harmful to me or mental health again too long. I've definitely
Yeah.
have done that. One of the examples, it says, even after my love was gone and dead to me, I clung to the hope that she would still be there for me. And I think there's a piece of me, like, even in a relationship, like, if you said you
Ooh.
was down for me, if you say you love me, like, I really just like think, okay, that's forever then. Like,
Dang,
even no
Eric, why
matter.
you gotta come at me like that, bro? You know?
Oh, you coming in the group? See, yeah,
Man,
I know
look.
you dabbled in CA. You
Yeah.
accidentally came to the group, but maybe hey,
Now I might pull up purposely. Hey man, send me the link next time y'all do it. I'm
okay, yeah,
virtually.
you're gonna
Send
pull
me the
up.
link.
Great, great,
Oh,
exactly, because it's
dude,
just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
starting. And you know what?
Oh,
That's
he
something.
hit me right here. He got me now.
Yeah, yeah.
Now you done
So
got me.
again, codependent. And here's the thing: this is where it hits men because we think of extremely loyal. And hey, I not Captain Faithful over here. I haven't been in a whole bunch of long-term relationship, nothing like that. But I can say, where do our loyalty, guys, it expresses itself in other ways because we are
Yeah.
very loyal, man. Like, we go down with the ship. If our team is our team,
I
that's
went
our
a whole
team.
month without a haircut because I ain't want to cheat on my barber.
I promise you, bro. There's certain things, yes, bro. Like, we are down with the squad. We
Yeah.
gang,
Yeah, yeah,
gang,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. Gang all the way,
F
baby.
the other side. You pick your teams. Like, God, there's a certain piece of us that we just are. We go down with the ship. There are people that are
Yeah.
Cleveland Brown fans.
Yeah.
Okay, Cleveland Browns have been one of the
Yeah.
worst teams since Jim Brown left back in the
There's
'60s.
people out here
But
with
there people are
tattoos of other
still.
people.
I'm trying, man.
Man, hey.
Why? Because if you born into it, if that's your team, like, then you really ride and die.
I was
So when they
remember
really do.
Dylan in Wyclef?
Skyline, yeah. You're too close, man. Too
You're too
close.
close. You could either
Yeah.
make the song or you could
Make
make the
this.
song.
Yeah, exactly,
No,
man. So
you
so
like that.
again, you being a married man, you probably have seen this so many guys after the love is gone, after the thrill is gone. So I
Mm.
highlighted this not because I've gone through it really,
Yeah.
like that. I ain't been in 10-year, 20-year, 30-year loveless marriages that people just stay the hell in. But I could see if I had made a promise, if like just because of that, whatever I said, I would hold myself or feel shame to do a certain
I think
thing.
you get I think people
People do that.
are getting out of more relationships now than
Yeah,
what
yeah,
they used to
definitely.
be.
Yeah, yeah. There's
You
more
know what I
options
mean?
than it ever used to be. Yeah,
I
yeah.
just realized all my daughter's friends, they come from like they I hate this. I hate the term broken
Yeah,
home.
yeah, don't say, yeah, that's
You
not
know,
broken,
yeah, I
but
didn't want to
again,
be
it's
like
just
they come from Brooklyn. That
uh
sounds horrible. that horrible stigma
I've
around it.
all
I think,
experienced divorce. Exactly. Experienced like
yeah,
divorce. Yeah. You,
because I think that's probably one of the most.
mm-hmm,
Think about it. If they got to that point, it's probably better. You know what I
mm-hmm.
mean? It's probably a way less toxic situation.
Hey,
You
yeah,
know what
you
I
never
mean?
know what people are going through, man. Again,
Yeah.
his name always somehow makes it onto the show. Tom Brady, bro.
Yeah.
In the middle of the season, not going through a divorce, finalize that thing, bro. That means they have
Dang.
been going all of that, all of it takes to get all of that stuff untangled and intertwined or
Yeah.
whatever to, and the stress to go, through that. You never know what people are really going through, in that, in their time. So, um,
Man.
yeah,
That's
man.
real
So
though. That's real.
it's very real. So,
I
you
like
know,
that last one.
yeah, man. It's
That hit
serious
home.
business, man. Codependents are very loyal, remaining in harmful situations too long, man. Man, get out the gang, people. Get out the gang, bro. No, you don't got to go down with the ship.
Yeah.
So codependent value others' opinions and feelings more than their own and are afraid to express differing viewpoints or feelings of their own. See, this is like half true for me because
Yeah.
I like the debate so I can express differing viewpoints, but it's able for me to keep a distance from it. Like I can be a great devil's advocate. Like because I went to
Yeah.
school for rhetoric, I know under arguments, so just the logic of something, I can just argue just,
Have you
defending the
ever just
logic of a
not
thing.
have you ever been able to shut somebody down, but you ain't shut them down because you
Oh
was like,
yeah,
you didn't want to
yeah,
hurt their
yeah.
feelings? I think
Absolutely.
that
Yeah,
sounds kind of
absolutely.
like that. Like it values
You
other
could
people's
just
opinions. Like you got the
yeah.
answer. You could shut the person down.
Well, here's the thing, or at least like I'm there to entertain like the argument. I will do that,
Yeah.
but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's because at the end of the day, maybe I am truly, like I said, maybe trying to convince them. Like there is a
Yeah.
piece of me that really does care that they like my arguments, or they like, what I'm saying. So one of the things that to relate to, it says I was taught that what other people think of me is more important than what I think of myself. And again, this was the next one too. If I share who I really am, she will leave me. You feel me? I
I've been
used,
that. I've been
yeah,
there. I've been
exactly.
there.
So, and it used to come out in very subconscious ways, subtle things that I would say. I had a good friend of mine, man. Shout out to you. She had to tell me to stop saying like, oh, well, I've been in this relationship or do this until such and such gets sick of me. And so I'll be,
Yeah.
like, well, this always happens until such and such gets sick of me. That's how I would describe like the end of my
Really.
relationships or breakup.
Yeah.
And it was like, she was like, stop saying that. Like, no, you're not. Like, I didn't even know what I like. Again, this is like five,
Yeah.
6 years ago.
So,
But
bro,
again,
this is embedded in you somewhere.
yeah,
It's in
so
your
like it's just like
DNA.
whatever.
We're
Because
gonna work
again,
through it.
yeah, because being again, we talked about last episode, a love anorexic is like
Yeah.
it's almost like I'm used to being by myself. I'm used to not being partnered or feeling like again accepted. What I am is just enough for somebody to be with. I
Yeah.
don't really have experience like that. Like we cool until we not. That's all I know. you
Yep.
know, and it's
Yep.
easier for me sometimes again to not even want to blame the other person. I just blame myself. Like, yeah, I did such and such. Sure, or one of the reasons I went to therapy, to learning how to not self sabotage, to how to keep the good things going in my life. Now we
We
about to
all
do it though. Now I'm about to,
gaining
yeah,
access to
yeah.
our own mental, every day. I love it. Oh, now you getting to the part that I like right here. All
See,
right.
here's the thing. Like this one
Yeah.
kept it was too real. I say, you
Listen
know
up,
what?
everybody.
I can't
Turn
even
your
lie right
device
now,
up a
bro.
little bit.
Bro, people, this one right here hit
You
me
gotta
to my
say this
soul,
in your sexy voice. Go ahead.
man. Codependents accept sex when they want love. Ooh,
Mm.
boy. I said, man. They
You
accept
was on your Barry White when
codependency.
you said that right
Man.
there. I'm gonna have to.
Hey,
There you go.
you know what I'm saying?
All
Hey,
right. All right. Yeah.
if you want me to do it, I'm gonna do it. You feel me? If you're gonna listen, I'm
You
gonna give you
killed.
something to listen
You
to.
killed it. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
good.
But no, but honestly, like, yeah, man, codependents accept sex when they want love. I had this conversation with again Danae too.
Yeah.
I was like a lot of men, it's mistaken our need for intimacy for our need, for sex. We feel like,
Yeah.
we can't express that we just really, that's the intimacy we want. We think a lot of times even the only way we can get that is through sex. If we
Yeah.
perform good enough sexually, if we do what we have to do, like if we get sex, then she'll give us what we actually want,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Well, and
And
this
so
one it seems like
yeah. And
and
it's
I don't
like,
know
yeah,
we
we'll
we
accept it. It's not even like that's what we're after
yeah.
you all the time. Like, but I found myself too, yeah, not even going to smash, bro. Not even like I was really thinking one thing, but I felt
Yeah.
myself just, all right, man. Well, that's what you're gonna give me. I would, all right, cool,
Just yeah. Yeah.
And the
It seems
thing
like
is,
this is something more that women would deal with. You know what I mean? But I can see this how I mean, what you
Well,
explaining it
because
right
they're
there.
offered sex more than men. Yeah,
Right,
women are.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Well,
it's
that's
volume. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It just
yeah,
they're
yeah.
gonna they're on the
But
opposite side of that. You feel
when
me?
you were just explaining it, it helped me see it from a guy's perspective.
Yeah, because
You know what I
you've been
mean?
there like we've actually again first date type stuff. Not every guy expects to smash in the first date. Like most of the time, like it's not like the standard, but it's
Yeah.
just like what happens when you actually start, like, you know, and it's
I
just like
looked up at
okay, you see what they really like. No, they're
yeah,
here for that actually. And again, one of the things it says is I would take whatever crumbs of affection I could get and just be happy for days.
happy
You know
for
what I'm saying?
days.
Again, if it was a person that liked me too, that's another
Yeah,
thing. If it's like a person I really like, the thing they did, like it would just mean that much more to me, as opposed to if the person I didn't like, or somebody I
right.
was, more unattached to. It
Yeah.
was like I was constantly trying to like level off that, trying to even that thing out all the time.
I seem
Trying to
like I
get
was
some.
on the opposite side of this.
Mm,
I was on the opposite side of this one. You know what I
that's good.
mean?
Spoken like a good married man. I like that, brother. That's good. People, you know what? People take notes, boys. Man, you trying to stay together. Shit,
No,
man.
I'm just saying, because for me, I'm more of an addict, so I couldn't take a little piece of affection and then
Mm,
be good for days. I need I need that
yeah,
joint. I need that joint every day. Like, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
You
So for
know.
me, it was I needed constant attention or
Mm,
whatever. So that's also unhealthy as well. But
mm, mm,
it
yep.
also I often confuse intimacy with sex, and those are two
Mm,
different things. I mean, we can get
mm.
on to that, a whole
Well,
conversation about that later too. Those are
because it's like I heard some online. It was like one guy said, I think it was like the comedian, like Country Wayne. It's like,
yeah.
does money bring happiness? And he said, no, but it's so close you can't tell the difference.
Mm,
And I said, damn, man, that's deep because one of the things that marketing, whatever it is, like I'm reading books about that now. Um, we're in the pursuit of happiness. We want happiness, like it's like
yeah.
we want love. You know what I'm saying? We want
Yep.
happiness, but
It's
pleasure
like a
is so
synthetic
close
form
to it.
of
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
synthetic. It's so
Yeah.
close to it. But
It's
here's the
like the
thing.
generic form for happiness.
There you go. But at this,
Yeah.
but because happiness, there's a sense of satisfaction. You good, as
Yeah.
opposed to pleasure. I need another hit. I need another hit.
Yep.
After you get done, I
Yep.
need another one.
Because
There's
it
no
doesn't
contentment.
last.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's no contentment
Yeah.
there. So yeah, so we're marketed pleasure. They want to market us happiness. They want us to
I
buy slow
guess you
stuff
know
after we
what,
buy what
Eric?
we bought.
Hey,
You feel me? Like,
that's a good point. I never really looked at it like
yeah.
that, but that's dope. I guess
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in the pursuit of happiness. I was in the pursuit of pleasure. You
Exactly.
know?
And again, they're giving it to us more and more. We're doped up,
Yeah.
baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
pushing
Yeah.
that dope on
Definitely.
us. And so
There's a difference between pleasure and happiness, people.
absolutely, man. There's a satisfaction that comes with, happiness that pleasure can't do. It's just by definition, it ain't designed to do it. Uh,
Like that.
so it says, yeah. So in recovery, we respect ourselves, we set our own boundaries in our sexual relationships, and we learn to discern between sex and love. So yeah,
Sex and love.
so yeah, denial patterns was the first, little set. So again, they broke it down to like three. Like so, as we get this last third, denial patterns, compliance patterns, and now control patterns. You
Mm.
know, now again, this first one, like I said, take it away from me for a second. I didn't highlight it, but it says codependents believe most other people are incapable of taking care of themselves. So
Dang.
that can be something like that. So some people like, if they grow up having to be a caretaker, if they having this sense of, okay, well, people can't really do it themselves, so I got to do it. So you're getting that idea. So like to give the example, when my father came home drunk, my mother wouldn't cook for him, so I did. I was 6 years old when that pattern began.
Dang.
What I'm saying? Picking up the slack. So a lot of
Yeah,
times
that
people in code, like a lot of people in codependence announcement. So when I first heard about it, I'm thinking, okay, these are the people, like you said, the other side of the drug, of the alcoholics, the
yes.
other side,
Yep.
who's the people
Yep.
that picked up slack for these people who did it up. So I said, I didn't grow up in a household like that, so I can't necessarily relate, to this one. When I read it, I was
Well,
like,
maybe
oh,
not
okay, this is
relate to
exactly it. Yeah. People,
how it formed. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
But I was like, but yeah, I can relate. Yes. That's where we do that.
You know,
So,
I had a little brother, and I felt obligated to. He would fall out of the bed every night. You know, I feel horrible, but I did. I felt obligated, like I should go over there and help him out or whatever, but I didn't, and I like kind of beat myself up over that too now. But some people would have felt
Yeah.
obligated to make sure, he was
You'd
okay.
you'd have been there every night, the bodyguard in the bed. You know, that's your
Yeah,
job in
yeah.
life to keep
And
your
that was their
brother from
job. Yeah,
falling. Yeah,
exactly. So it's
yeah,
like it could be sparked differently. Like unfortunately, the father in this particular situation was drunk, came home, and you know, now the 6-year-old felt obligated to do things. That is
yep. There you
yeah,
go.
that's
So
how
it
it
puts you in that
starts.
stuff. So the person that you're supposed to be like most dependent on, you're supposed to be relying on. Now they have to rely on you.
Yes.
You know, that's a
No.
inversion. You know, of your childhood, man. So,
I think
and
my
then here's
parents'
this.
generation could relate to that a
No,
lot.
because here's
There
the
was a
thing. What's the
lot
next
of that in my
example?
parents'
What's the
generation.
next one? It says, I paid my grown son's rent because he, in the air quotes, couldn't get a job. Come on, man. There's some people here
Mm,
right now, like,
I was about to say, I know a lot of them. I know who you are. No.
yo, if you can't say amen, you ought to say ouch. There you go. Got that from a real
I
preacher.
never heard that way.
I got that from a real preacher. Shout out to Vody Bachman. That's his thing.
That's
If you can't
hilarious. If
say
you
amen,
can't
you ought to
say
say
amen,
ouch.
say
Because
ouch.
a lot of
Oh,
people, again, pay your grown son or your daughter's rent because, again, air quotes, couldn't get a job. And again, I saw this so much. My show, I love, intervention. Before, like, little did I know, maybe I was looking at mental
yeah.
health and speaking of divorces and the patterns of, all that stuff. I was always looking at that show, and that's what it would
Yeah.
be. These people having to take care of these grown people, and so they themselves have to get in recovery.
Yep.
From really truly believing that a grown person can't take care of themselves, and so.
Yeah.
So in recovery, we recognize that adults are capable of caring for themselves. We stop doing for
Mm-hmm.
others what they can do for themselves. We learn to respect others' boundaries too. And that's another thing. Respect,
Mm.
enforcing our own boundaries, creating our own boundaries, but then again, learning to respect other people's boundaries as well.
That's
You know?
really important though in life. I think
Mm-hmm.
they should have like that should be a class in like school talking about boundaries, to be honest with you. There's so many people with unhealthy
Boundaries
boundaries.
class.
Yeah, there should be like a
Okay.
boundaries class, bro. Like seriously, like there's so many have you ever had the person come up to you and be just talking too close? All in your face, just you're like, hey man, back up,
All in
man.
your
All
bubble,
in your
man. Why
face.
you all in
Man,
my bubble, bruh?
you hella close. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can smell what you're thinking about. Just
Yep. Yeah. And here's another one again. These are like the controlling patterns. And then again, I
yeah.
don't identify, I don't have as many highlights in this section,
Yeah.
but
Mm.
codependents become resentful when others will not let them help. They can't be
Mm.
in the mix. They feel frozen. They don't want to, feel involved. But
When someone refuses my help, my internal reaction is, okay, see if I ever offer to do anything for you again.
petty. Come on
Yeah.
now.
Guilty of that.
I need to see some ouches, man.
Yeah,
Where the
I can say
amens and
amen to
ouches,
that.
man.
I,
Yeah,
hey, I done did that. I'm
yeah.
petty. I
Mm-hmm.
know I could be petty as hell sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
One time,
yep.
my manager, he he retired. He don't work there no more. But he was my old supervisor, and they used to call the kitchen, like mopping the kitchen, hit the gray tiles, but it was gray and brown tiles, right? So I just did literally just the gray one.
Bruh. Bruh.
I'm petty as hell.
That's
It took
super
it
petty,
took me
bro.
more time just to do that than
I
if I just cleaned them all.
I believe it, bro. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you might be in the club too, bro. You in two clubs.
Yeah.
Cause
See if
yeah,
he
that's
asks
petty as
see
hell.
if he asked me to do this stuff again.
See if I ever offer to do anything for you again.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
I'm petty. I
Yeah.
could be.
And then again, we in the holiday season, just coming off
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, about to have like Thanksgiving was just done, about to come up on Christmas.
Ain't you gonna get such and such a gift? Hey, did they give me
Oh, man,
some?
here you
See if
go.
I get him.
Hold on.
See if I get him something to get.
Yeah, yeah. Another characteristics of this. Controlling patterns too now. Again, we talked
Yep.
about, from one section, but now we get into it again. Codependents use sex to gain approval or acceptance.
Mm.
You know, again, there's different ways to get into the
Yeah.
gang. They trying to get in the gang. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, you didn't get blessed in the gang.
Peer
Sometimes you
pressure,
get jumped. There you go.
validation.
There you
Yeah.
exactly using manipulation, using sex as a manipulation. Again, this is a controlling pattern, using it as a tool to get what you want. And this is kind of interesting. I didn't expect this when it said, although my first husband didn't like to dance, I could
Yeah.
get him to dance if I promised to have sex with him when we got home. I felt like a prostitute. I was
Oh
like, yeah, bro,
wow.
you literally like, bro, you know. And then the second one, I believe that if I was good in bed, my girlfriend would stay with me. Come on, man. How many people you think?
That one might be
Yeah,
true. No, I'm just
yeah. Hey, man. Again,
let me
hey,
stop. Let me
because here's the thing: people can lie. Because again, you
we can
think you know
lie. We
people
are
can lie, bro.
we put these like my therapist like to call it. Me and my therapist
Wow,
talk
man.
about this all the time. We call it putting the mask on.
There you go.
Um, I can get deep into that, but I'll save that for another one.
There you go.
Into
So a whole
putting
nother
on those
episode. This is gonna
masks.
be one of the
So
longer
no,
episodes in a minute.
that
Yeah.
is real, man. No, that is real. And that first
Mm-hmm.
situation that you read, I'm pretty
Manipulation.
sure that happens in a lot of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
That's a toxic relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That
Yep.
is a
Yep.
toxic relationship right there.
Exactly. So it
Take
says,
note, people.
for
Take
real.
note.
And so again, I like the positivity of like again the recovery steps. It says in recovery, we stop using sex to manipulate. We learn to accept and approve ourselves as we are. You don't have to
Mhm.
again if when you like again as my pastor would say, like when you don't understand the purpose of something, abuse is inevitable. That's not what you're supposed to be doing that for a man and a wife. And all that I know about it, all little I know about it. Correct me if I'm wrong, Steve. You're not supposed to be using sex as a manipulation tool. Like it's not supposed to be a weapon. To
Well, after a certain age.
come on, man.
No, I'm
Like,
just
damn.
saying.
Give us some
I'm
hope.
just,
I was like, please
I'm
correct me
just
if I'm wrong, but
playing.
I'm like,
I'm
please
just,
just validate. Give us some hope, bro. Please tell me this is not like this is part of the
well,
bad stuff. This ain't what you're
uh,
supposed to do,
sometimes you could use it if you need to. No, I'm
bro.
just. No,
Okay, I saw
he's
the Players Club. You gotta use what you got to
you got to
get
use
what
what
you
you got
want.
sometime in this world, baby. Listen up to me, baby. In this day and age,
Mama
no, but
said
he's right.
every
Don't
day.
nobody shouldn't have to use that. That ultimately will break a person's ego down
Hmm.
and your self-worth. Then you start feeling like that's all you're good for, and that's what you lead with in your next relationships, and it can be a toxic environment for the rest of your life. If gone untreated. So yeah, don't ever do that.
For sure, yeah.
I joke and I kid around, but yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, man. That's pun intended, a road you don't necessarily want to hoe. You feel me? Literally. That's funny.
I love
Shout
it.
out to you, man. But okay,
But
thank
yeah,
you all so much for joining us for another episode of the Consider Your Mind podcast, man. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we really do appreciate that. Again, tell your friends, tell your family, if this has helped you, and or if you know somebody who could help. Hey man, pass it on to them, and please check out the description box and for the links below for this pamphlet that we're reading from, and also information about Codependence Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, whatever, and just therapy in general, all things mental health. That's what we hear about it. Consider Your Mind. So we want to be your resource for that. And until next time, peace.